The signal. Commander Sarah Chen stared at the holographic display, her dark eyes reflecting the pulsing red anomaly that shouldn't exist. The Deep Space Monitoring Array had never detected anything like it before. A massive gravitational distortion moving in a coordinated pattern across the Kuiper Belt. Her hands trembled slightly as she cross-referenced the data for the 5th time. "Dr. Walsh," she called out, her voice steadied despite her racing heart. "I need you to verify these readings." The aging astrophysicist shuffled over, his weathered face illuminated by the stark light of Luna Base's observation deck. He adjusted his glasses, a rare antiquity in 2157, and leaned in close to the display. The color drained from his face. "This is impossible," he whispered. "The energy requirements for a distortion field of this magnitude." He trailed off, running calculations through his neural interface. "We're looking at the power output of a small star." Sarah nodded grimly. "And it's not alone." She expanded the display, revealing dozens of similar signatures, all moving in perfect formation. "Whatever this is, it's organized. And it's heading straight for us." Within hours, the Luna Base observation deck transformed into a crisis center. The United Earth Defense Council materialized one by one through quantum projection, their translucent forms arranged in a semicircle around the holographic display. Sarah stood at attention, her formal uniform feeling unnecessarily stiff as she prepared to brief the most powerful people on Earth. "Counselors," she began, 18 hours ago, our Deep Space Monitoring Array detected what we initially believed to be a sensor malfunction." She gestured, and the hologram shifted to show the approaching anomalies. "Further analysis has confirmed that we are observing a fleet of vessels using some form of advanced gravitational manipulation for propulsion. Based on their current trajectory and velocity, they will reach Earth orbit in approximately 72 hours. The council chamber erupted in whispers. Admiral Zhang, a decorated veteran of the Mars Rebellion, leaned forward. "Commander Chen, what are your preliminary threat assessments?" Sarah took a deep breath. "The technology we're observing surpasses our current capabilities by at least several centuries. A single vessel in their fleet could potentially generate enough energy to power all of Earth for a year, if their intentions are hostile." She let the implications hang in the air. "And we have no way of communicating with them." Counselor Patel's hologram flickered as she spoke. "We've attempted standard first contact protocols on all known frequencies," Sarah replied. "They've acknowledged none of our transmissions. However," she paused, bringing up a new data set, "we have detected what appears to be a continuous broadcast emanating from the fleet. Our AI linguistics team just completed their preliminary analysis." Dr. Walsh stepped forward, clearing his throat. "The message repeats in over 1,000 different languages, none of them Earth-based. We believe it's some form of standard greeting or declaration. The AI has managed to decode approximately 3% of it, but one phrase appears consistently across all variations." He tapped his neural interface, and a series of alien glyphs appeared above the holographic fleet. Roughly translated, Sarah continued, it reads, "Submit to the hegemony." The council chamber fell silent. Humanity had dreamed of first contact for generations, but not like this. Not with an armada carrying a demand for submission. Admiral Zhang was the first to speak. "Commander Chen, what are our options?" Sarah straightened her shoulders. Conventional military response would be suicide. Their technology is too advanced. However, she brought up a new hologram, showing a prototype that had been her team's closely guarded secret for the past 5 years. Project Lighthouse might give us a fighting chance. The prototype rotated slowly in the air. A network of satellites unlike anything humanity had ever constructed. "We've been developing a way to manipulate the quantum fabric of space itself," Sarah explained. "Originally intended for faster-than-light communication, but with some modifications. It could be weaponized." Admiral Zhang finished, his eyes narrowing as he studied the design. "Not exactly," Sarah corrected, "but it could give us an advantage they won't expect." The hegemony clearly believes they're approaching a primitive civilization that will either submit or be easily conquered. They're not prepared for a species that has learned to bend the laws of physics. Counselor Pidal leaned forward. How quickly can it be deployed? With a global effort, 72 hours. Barely enough time before they arrive. The council members exchanged glances. They all understood the gravity of the situation. The entire human race balanced on a knife's edge. Admiral Zhang stood, his hologram towering over the others. Commander Chen, you have full authorization. Whatever resources you need, they're yours. Humanity will not submit without showing the hegemony exactly what they're dealing with. Sarah nodded, already calculating the monumental task ahead. As the council members winked out one by one, she turned to Dr. Walsh. Get me a direct line to every major research facility on Earth and Mars, and contact Director Pham at the Quantum Forge. She allowed herself a small, determined smile. We're about to remind the galaxy why you should never underestimate human ingenuity. Outside the observation deck's windows, Earth hung like a jewel in the void, blissfully unaware of the approaching storm. Humanity had just 72 hours to prepare for the greatest challenge in its history. But Sarah Chen had no intention of letting her species face extinction without a fight. The real question was, would Project Lighthouse be enough to make even a galactic superpower think twice about threatening Earth? Project Lighthouse. The quantum forge sprawled across the lunar surface like a chrome spider web, its gleaming towers reflecting Earth's distant light. Inside the central hub, Director Maya Pham watched as another prototype quantum core achieved stability for precisely 2.3 seconds before dissolving into subatomic particles. Not good enough, she muttered, her augmented vision already calculating the necessary adjustments. We need minutes, not seconds. Commander Chen's hologram appeared beside her, looking as exhausted as Maya felt. Neither of them had slept in the 48 hours since the council meeting. Status report. We've achieved quantum stability in 4 of the 7 test cores, Maya replied, sending the data through their neural link. But maintaining it at the scale we need. She shook her head. The math works, Sarah. The theory is sound. We just don't have enough time to work out all the bugs. Time is the one thing the hegemony isn't giving us. Sarah's hologram walked through the simulation of Project Lighthouse, hovering in the center of the room. What if we distributed the load? Instead of trying to maintain one massive quantum field, multiple smaller fields working in concert. Maya's eyes widened as she ran the calculations. It would be like a net instead of a wall. More delicate to coordinate, but her fingers flew across invisible interfaces as she modified the design. Yes, this could work. We'd need to reconfigure the satellite network, but... Do it, Sarah ordered. I'll coordinate with the orbital construction teams. Her hologram flickered. The first wave of hegemony ships just passed Mars orbit. We have less than 24 hours. Maya nodded, already deep in the quantum calculations. As Sarah's hologram vanished, alerts flashed across Maya's augmented vision. Updates from every major research center on Earth and Mars. Humanity had united with unprecedented speed and determination. Political differences and old rivalries vanished in the face of extinction. The entire species worked as one, racing against time to give Earth a fighting chance. In orbit, construction drones swarmed like metallic insects, assembling the massive network of satellites that would form Project Lighthouse's physical framework. Each satellite contained one of Maya's quantum cores, designed to tap into the very fabric of space-time itself. Director Pham. Dr. Walsh's aged voice carried across the quantum link. The AI has decoded another 15% of the hegemony's message. You need to see this. Maya's breath caught as the translation appeared in her vision. Beyond the demand for submission, the message contained details about the hegemony itself. A civilization spanning thousands of galaxies, consuming resources and technology from countless conquered species. They didn't just want Earth's submission, they wanted its complete assimilation. They've done this before, she whispered. So many times they don't even consider resistance possible anymore. Her neural interface pinged with an incoming call from the orbital construction team. Director, we've completed the primary satellite ring. Beginning quantum core installation now. Maya straightened, pushing aside her horror at the hegemony's true nature. Understood. Begin synchronized power-up sequence on my mark. She opened a channel to Sarah. Commander, we're ready for the first full-scale test. In Luna Base's command center, Sarah Chen watched as Project Lighthouse came online for the first time. The satellite network glowed with artificial starlight, each quantum core pulsing in perfect harmony. On her tactical display, the hegemony fleet approached with inexorable purpose. Over 1,000 ships, each large enough to dwarf Earth's largest space stations. Power readings are stable, Maya reported. Quantum field integrity at 92% and holding. It's working, Sarah. It's actually working. Sarah allowed herself a moment of hope. Project Lighthouse wasn't a weapon in the traditional sense. Instead, it was something far more ambitious, a way to fundamentally alter the rules of physics within Earth's solar system. If it worked as designed, the hegemony's gravitational drives would find themselves operating in an environment where their own laws of physics no longer applied. All stations, report readiness, Sarah commanded, her voice carrying to every corner of human space. From Earth to Mars, from the lunar bases to the asteroid mining outposts, humanity's combined military forces stood ready. They were hopelessly outgunned by conventional standards, but conventional warfare wasn't what Sarah had in mind. 16 hours until the hegemony enters optimal range, her tactical AI reported. All Project Lighthouse satellites maintaining stable quantum fields. Sarah opened a channel to the United Earth Defense Council. Project Lighthouse is operational. Request permission to proceed with Phase 2. Admiral Zhang's response was immediate. Permission granted, Commander. Show them why they should have chosen their targets more carefully. As the hegemony fleet drew closer, Sarah couldn't help but smile. They expected to find a primitive civilization cowering in fear. Instead, they would face a species that had learned to rewrite the laws of physics itself. Humanity might be young compared to the hegemony, but they had one advantage their would-be conquerors couldn't comprehend: the audacity to attempt the impossible. Begin Phase 2, Sarah ordered. Let's give the hegemony a proper welcome to Earth. Throughout the solar system, Project Lighthouse's satellites pulsed with increasing power, preparing to turn the space around Earth into a quantum maze that would make the hegemony's technological superiority meaningless. The question wasn't whether humanity could match their raw power. It was whether they could change the game entirely. First contact. The hegemony's lead vessel emerged from gravitational drive, like a leviathan breaching dark waters. It dwarfed everything humanity had ever built, its crystalline surface refracting sunlight in impossible patterns. Behind it, hundreds of ships dropped into normal space, forming a wall of overwhelming force that stretched across Earth's sky. Commander Sarah Chen stood on Luna Base's observation deck, watching the arrival with a mix of awe and determination. Status of Project Lighthouse. All quantum fields operating at peak efficiency. Maya's voice replied through the neural link. Ready to activate on your command. The massive alien fleet hung motionless, their presence alone enough to demonstrate their technological superiority. A new transmission burst from their flagship, overwhelming every communication channel in the solar system. Primitive species of Sol 3. The message began, translated in real time by Earth's AI networks. You stand before the galactic hegemony, rulers of 1,000,000 stars. Your resistance is neither expected nor required. Submit, and you will be elevated. Resist, and you will be erased. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. They certainly don't lack for confidence. She opened a channel to all Earth forces. This is Commander Chen. All units maintain position. Do not, I repeat, do not engage unless directly ordered. The hegemony's flagship launched what appeared to be probes, sleek, crystalline objects that streaked toward Earth's atmosphere. Standard protocol for their conquest, no doubt. Study the primitive species before beginning the systematic dismantling of their civilization. They're scanning us, Dr. Walsh reported from his station. Extremely sophisticated technology. They're mapping every artificial structure in the solar system. Sarah nodded. Let them look. Maya, prepare to activate Project Lighthouse on my mark. The probes completed their survey, returning to the flagship with their data. Several tense minutes passed as the hegemony processed what they'd found. The next transmission carried a note of confusion. Your technological level is inconsistent. You possess quantum computing, yet lack basic gravity manipulation. You understand neural interfaces, but not faster than light travel. Explain these discrepancies. Sarah stepped forward, knowing the hegemony would detect her movement. This is Commander Sarah Chen of the United Earth Defense Forces. We are a young species, yes, but we are not primitive. We choose our own path of development, our own destiny. We will not submit. A pause, longer this time. When the response came, it carried a tone that might have been amusement. Your defiance is noted, but irrelevant. Your species will be integrated into the hegemony. Your resources will serve the greater whole. This is not a negotiation. The flagship's crystalline surface began to shift, revealing what could only be weapon emplacements. Energy readings spiked across Sarah's tactical display. They're powering up their main gravity weapons, Maya reported. If those hit Earth. They won't, Sarah interrupted. All units, prepare for Phase 2. Maya, activate Project Lighthouse. Now, throughout the solar system, the satellite network pulsed with impossible energy. Space itself seemed to shiver as thousands of quantum fields activated in perfect synchronization. The laws of physics around Earth began to change in subtle but profound ways. The effect on the hegemony fleet was immediate. Their gravity drives flickered as they encountered spaces where their understood laws of physics no longer applied. The massive ships began to drift, their perfect formation disrupting as they struggled to maintain control. What is this? The hegemony's transmission crackled with static. Your technology cannot. This is impossible. You assumed we would fight you on your terms, Sarah replied, her voice steady. That was your first mistake. Humanity doesn't play by anyone's rules but our own. The flagship attempted to fire its gravity weapons, but in the quantum-shifted space around Earth, the carefully calibrated beams twisted and dispersed harmlessly. More ships began to drift, their advanced technology rendered unreliable by Project Lighthouse's reality warping effect. This is your final warning. Sarah continued. Leave Earth's space immediately, or we will demonstrate exactly why underestimating humanity was your second mistake. The hegemony's response was predictable. They launched fighters, smaller ships less dependent on gravity manipulation. But even these craft found themselves fighting against space itself, their pilots unable to trust their instruments in an environment where physical constants kept shifting. They're deploying some kind of countermeasure, Maya reported, trying to stabilize their local spacetime. Sarah watched as the hegemony fleet struggled to adapt, their supposed technological superiority proving worthless against humanity's audacious manipulation of reality itself. They still think this is about technology, she mused. They don't understand that humanity's greatest strength isn't our tools. It's our ability to change the rules of the game entirely. The flagship's crystalline surface rippled again, this time in what appeared to be frustration. Their next transmission contained something new, not demands or threats, but a question. What are you? Sarah's response was simple. We are human. And this is only the beginning of what we can do. Choose your next actions carefully. As the hegemony fleet hung in Earth's twisted space, their advanced technology rendered uncertain by human ingenuity, the galaxy's greatest power faced an unprecedented situation. A species that refused to be conquered, armed with the audacity to rewrite reality itself. The test. The hegemony's response came not as words, but as action. From the depths of their massive flagship emerged something new, a device that pulsed with dark energy, sending ripples through Project Lighthouse's quantum fields. They're attempting to stabilize their local spacetime. Maya's voice crackled through the neural link. These readings, they're using technology we've never seen before. Commander Sarah Chen watched as the alien fleet began to adapt, their ships gradually regaining control in the twisted space around Earth. She had expected this. The hegemony hadn't conquered thousands of civilizations by being inflexible. All stations, prepare for Phase 3, she ordered, her voice carrying across Earth's unified defense network. They've had their warning. Now we show them what happens when humanity is pushed too far. The hegemony's flagship launched another transmission, this time in perfect English. Your resistance is unprecedented, but ultimately futile. We have encountered species who manipulated quantum fields before. They too believed they could deny the inevitable. They too were wrong. Sarah smiled grimly. Maya, how long until their countermeasures fully stabilize their space? 10 minutes, maybe less. They're learning faster than we anticipated. Then let's not give them time to learn. Sarah opened a channel to the Quantum Forge. Director FAM, execute Protocol Omega. Throughout the solar system, Project Lighthouse's satellites began to pulse with new energy. But instead of manipulating space around the hegemony fleet, they created a complex web of quantum tunnels, pathways where space itself folded in ways that even the hegemony's advanced sensors couldn't predict. Earth's defense fleet, previously hidden behind Mars and in the asteroid belt, emerged through these tunnels simultaneously, appearing at impossible angles around the alien armada. Each human ship was small compared to the hegemony's vessels, but they moved with perfect precision through the quantum-shifted space, their crews trained to fight in physics that no longer played by normal rules. Impossible, the hegemony transmitted. Your ships cannot. You do not possess this level of control. You assumed we would fight conventionally, Sarah replied. That we would rely on brute force and superior technology. But humanity has never won its greatest battles through superiority. We win because we adapt. We win because we refuse to accept limitations. The battle erupted across Earth's orbit. The hegemony's massive ships fired gravity weapons that twisted harmlessly through quantum tunnels, while Earth's smaller vessels struck from angles that shouldn't exist, their conventional weapons enhanced by the unpredictable physics of Project Lighthouse's influence. Their countermeasures are failing, Maya reported. They can't maintain stable space-time and fight simultaneously. Their technology relies too heavily on predictable physics. In the chaos of battle, Sarah noticed something unexpected. The hegemony fleet was not fighting with its full strength. Their attacks seemed almost cautious, as if they were testing, probing, trying to understand rather than overwhelm. Commander, Dr. Walsh's voice cut through the tactical chatter. I've finished analyzing their battle patterns. They're not trying to destroy us. They're studying us. Sarah's eyes narrowed. Explain. Their attacks are too precise, too measured. They're systematically testing our capabilities, our responses, our limits. This isn't an invasion, it's an evaluation. The realization hit Sarah like a physical force. The hegemony hadn't encountered a species like humanity before, one that could so fundamentally alter the rules of engagement. Their standard protocol of immediate submission or destruction had been disrupted by something new: curiosity. All units, hold position, Sarah commanded. She opened a direct channel to the hegemony flagship. You're not here to conquer us, are you? Not anymore. You want to understand us. The response came after a long pause. Your species is anomalous. You lack the technology to traverse galaxies, yet you bend reality itself to your will. You have no unified government, yet you fight as one. You face a superior force not with fear, but with innovation. You are interesting. We're human, Sarah replied simply. We've spent our entire history doing what others claimed was impossible. Did you really think we would stop just because you arrived with bigger ships? The massive flagship shifted, its crystalline surface reflecting Earth's light in patterns that seemed almost thoughtful. In 10,000 years of expansion, the hegemony has encountered countless species. Some fought with technology. Some fought with numbers. Some fought with desperation. But none fought by changing the nature of reality itself. The alien fleet began to withdraw, their weapons powering down. Your species requires further observation. The hegemony must reconsider its approach. Sarah allowed herself to breathe, but kept Project Lighthouse at full power. Does this mean Earth is safe? It means, the hegemony responded, that you have done what no species has done in 10 millennia. You have made the hegemony question its assumptions. This changes everything. Legacy of Earth. 1 year after the hegemony's withdrawal, Commander Sarah Chen stood before the newly constructed Galactic Embassy in Geneva, watching alien ships peacefully descend through Earth's atmosphere. But these weren't the massive warships of the hegemony. They were diplomatic vessels from dozens of species, all seeking audience with the civilization that had done the impossible. Still feels surreal, doesn't it? Maya Pham appeared beside her, no longer a hologram but in person. The director of the Quantum Forge had become Earth's leading expert in cross-species technological exchange. A year ago, we were preparing for extinction. Now we're hosting the largest diplomatic gathering in galactic history. Sarah nodded, her neural interface quietly logging the arrival of each alien delegation. The hegemony's report about Earth spread faster than we anticipated. Every independent species in the galaxy wants to know about the humans who rewrote physics. Inside the embassy's grand hall, representatives from Earth's united governments prepared to receive their guests. The hegemony's attempted invasion had done what centuries of human history couldn't. It had truly unified humanity under a single purpose, not through force or fear, but through the shared recognition of their species' unique potential. Latest report from the quantum satellites, Maya said, reviewing data through her augmented vision. 3 more civilizations have successfully replicated Project Lighthouse technology. The hegemony's grip on the galaxy is weakening by the day. That had been the most unexpected consequence of their encounter. The hegemony's power had always relied on technological superiority, their ability to overwhelm and assimilate any civilization they encountered. But humanity had demonstrated that superior technology wasn't enough. When the report of Earth's defense spread, other species began to question, to innovate, to look for their own ways to change the rules. Commander Chen. A familiar transmission caught her attention. The same voice that had once demanded Earth's submission. The hegemony's diplomatic delegation requests permission to land. Sarah smiled slightly. Permission granted. She turned to Maya, ready to show them what else we've been working on. The director's eyes gleamed. In the year since first contact, humanity hadn't stood still. Project Lighthouse had been just the beginning. With access to the hegemony's vast scientific database, offered as part of their new diplomatic relationship, Earth's scientists had made technological leaps that would have taken centuries otherwise. But they didn't simply copy alien technology. True to human nature, they questioned it, improved it, combined it with their own innovations in ways that even the hegemony hadn't considered possible. The quantum tunnels that had once been used for defense now formed the backbone of a new faster-than-light travel network, allowing ships to traverse the galaxy through corridors of altered spacetime. The hegemony's delegation emerged from their ship, their crystalline environmental suits catching the sunlight. Their leader, a being who introduced themselves as Observer Prime, approached Sarah directly. Commander Chen, they said, their translated voice carrying a note of what might have been respect. Your species continues to surprise us. When we first detected your civilization, we saw only another primitive world to be absorbed into the greater whole. We were incorrect. Sarah gestured toward the embassy entrance, where representatives from dozens of species were gathering. The galaxy is changing, Observer Prime. The age of conquest is ending. Humanity may be young, but we've learned that true strength comes not from domination, but from innovation, adaptation, and cooperation. Indeed, the Observer Prime's crystalline surface rippled in what Sarah had learned was a sign of deep thought. The hegemony has ruled through power for 10,000 years. Perhaps it is time for us to learn new ways. As they entered the embassy, Sarah's neural interface displayed a message from Earth's Unified Defense Command. More ships had been detected at the edge of the solar system, refugees from distant worlds, seeking asylum from oppressive regimes. Word had spread across the galaxy that Earth was different, that humans had found a way to resist the irresistible. "We accept," Sarah transmitted back, then turned to address the gathered diplomats. "Representatives of the galaxy, welcome to Earth. A year ago, we stood alone against what we thought was our extinction. Today, we stand together at the dawn of a new era. Humanity's gift to the galaxy isn't just our technology or our innovations. It's the reminder that the impossible is only impossible until someone decides to try." The Grand Hall hummed with translated conversations as species that had never dreamed of cooperation began to share ideas, to question old assumptions, to imagine new possibilities. Earth had become more than just another world in the vast expanse of space. It had become a symbol of change, a beacon of innovation, a testament to the power of refusing to accept limitations. And as Sarah Chen looked out over the gathering of galactic civilization, she understood that humanity's true legacy wouldn't be the technology they created or the battles they won. It would be the moment they showed the galaxy that even the oldest, most powerful empire could be challenged by those who dared to rewrite the rules of reality itself. The age of the hegemony was ending. The age of innovation, of cooperation, of unlimited possibility was just beginning. And it had started with a single message, delivered by a species that refused to submit. "Stay away from Earth."